today, and I'm hoping that, it doesn't freeze like last time. Um, I just have to remember how to check messages. Chat. All messages. Okay. I just have to remember how to see them. Okay, perfect. All right. So thank you so much for filling out the poll, the questions about what you want to talk about. Hello. Um, is this who I think it is? From is this Mayam? Um, is this you? Let me see. Because if it is, I'm going to be like promoting you a lot today. Yay! Thank you for being here. Awesome. So, yeah, hopefully it doesn't freeze. Hopefully it just stays like this. I've put it in like some kind of tripod thing. So it's all good. I'll just see if a few more people join the room and then dive into Love and SP and Am I Doing It Right with techniques. But I'm also intending that the dogs, the two puppers, just stay nice and relaxed because we had really big thunderstorms here last night, like 22 mils of rain, thunder, lightning for hours. So hopefully they just like chill out on the couch. Okay. So, am I doing it right? I love this question with manifesting because sometimes I ask myself this as well. Am I doing it right? And I think the best way to know is if you're chilled out and you're just like, yeah, I trust in manifesting. I trust in myself. I trust in my abilities. I trust that things work. Um, how am I feeling? Am I feeling relaxed or am I feeling agitated or anxious or nervous or worried? And so I kind of use that as like an indicator of, am I doing it right? So, as a suggestion, I would probably say to just check in and see how you're feeling when you're doing this. Am I doing it right? Equals how am I feeling? How do I feel about this? Do I feel that manifesting works? Do I feel that the techniques that I'm doing work for me? Because this is another thing. Hello to everyone else who is joining the room now. Yay! Um, Techniques. There are so many different techniques with manifesting, and they're not always going to work for everybody. So for myself, I love to like script out. I love to write love letters to myself from the people that I want to hear from, apology letters. I also write love letters to other people, whether that's family, friends, just life in general. So I love scripting. I also love like meditating with like really beautiful visualizations. But there's also like rapid reaffirming where you can constantly just be saying your affirmations for 10 minutes a couple times a day, maybe morning, afternoon, evening. So if that works better for you, do that as well. There really are no right or wrong techniques. It's just what works for you. So find what works for you, and you'll know if it works for you, because again, you'll feel relaxed and you'll feel trusting and you'll feel good once you've done them. You'll have this kind of like faith in the unseen about it. You'll have faith that it's working. So am I doing it right? Yeah. Yeah. The only way I suppose to know is if you're doing it wrong, and there's no real wrong way, but it's if you're like checking the 3D lots, you have anxiety, you're worried, you think you're messing it up, all this kind of low level stuff. So I would just focus on one or two techniques that feel really good to you. Trust, relax, allow, and just let it go. Just detach. Just really enjoy the process, because manifesting is actually meant to be fun. It's not this like really hard, awful tricky, manipulative experience. It's meant to be like fun. So you decide what you want, step number one. Step number two, you're like, you kind of fill in any of the details that you want with that goes with that. Step three, you just chill out, relax, and allow. And step four, you just continuously live in that end state. So it really is about deciding what you want, getting really clear on it, setting those intentions, staying in that new version of yourself. Who are you now that you have this thing or you're experiencing this thing? Who are you as this new person? And who is this other person turning up as, or anything else in your life for that matter? And just stay in that lane. I call it like the happy train. But you don't have to be happy all the time, like, because that's not really how we operate. All emotions are valid, but manifesting is meant to be fun, chilled, and easy and simple. The more simple you can make it, the easier things will be. If anyone has any questions, feel free to like dive in, because I can talk for days. So feel free to like type any questions that you like. And yeah, so because we're going to talk about love and SP today as well. And I also just want to say that there is a new coach on the channel, Judith. And Judith is like magical. And actually, I find that Judith is like this guru in love and relationships. So if you really, really want like amazing fast movement and guidance and support, Judith is like so incredible with love and relationships. I mean, I think we all have our different styles as coaches, but whenever I need help or I'm like panicking or I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, Judith. So I'm so excited that Judith is part of this channel now and will at some point possibly go live as well and, do amazing things. So Judith is also here, which is very exciting. So yeah, love and SP. If anyone has any questions or any questions on am I doing it right, but love and SP, it's pretty much the same as anything else. So what I often say to clients and even to myself is, what is the level of resistance that is going on here? Because the level of resistance will determine where you're at with manifesting and how quick something can come in. So for example, and we'll use like a cup of tea or a cup of coffee if you want to manifest that. We don't usually have a lot of like vulnerability and emotions tied to getting a free cup of coffee. We're just like, oh, it's free. Love that. These things happen. It's kind of small. It doesn't have this huge emotional attachment to it. Hello, Yara. How are you? I hope I'm saying that right with my accent. So good to see you. Thank you for being here. Feel free to ask questions. Just talking about SP and love and like our levels of resistance. That's good. I'm so glad you're well. So yeah, so we don't really have like a lot of resistance to getting a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, but when it comes to relationships, so much stuff can come up from childhood, from like abandonment issues, from school, from the way we were parented, from friendships to self-concept. A lot of stuff can come up. But I just want to like keep things really simple, because I think manifesting is really simple and we get in the way of it a lot. I know I do. Manifesting a cup of coffee really is about the same, it is the same level of energy as manifesting a specific person, because it all comes down to our level of resistance. If we don't have resistance to a cup of coffee, we're going to get it free. If we don't have resistance to allowing our person to come in, you're going to come in. So I always look at things as how much resistance do we have going on? And the best way to lower resistance is to look at everything as equal. So money is equal to a relationship, manifesting a cup of coffee. Nothing is more difficult than the other. Everything is the same in terms of allowing it to come in. It's all about how relaxed you are, how open you are, how trusting you are. I think that's what it always just comes down to. And if you can just chill out and have a really good time, then it's really fun anyway, and we're not getting worked up too much over anything. So I hope that was helpful. Feel free to ask any questions that you like. I'm here for like another 20, 25 minutes. So let's dive in. And I love these questions. I love it. And you can ask me anything because, there's no silly questions. There's nothing that we really can't talk about here in the manifesting space. It's so much easier to imagine someone without a face and feel the essence of him. Yes, yes. And I was actually talking about this with a client just over the weekend recently because she was having a lot of struggles getting into the new story and the new state with her person when she could see his face because she was still triggered by a lot of stuff that had happened. So we went really general. And now she is starting this week to really just focus on feeling the love, being in the relationship, and just, feeling all that good stuff. And then we can slowly bring that person's face back in. So, and actually, I think I was talking about this with beautiful Judith the other day as well, who has now joined the channel. Yara, Judith, Coach Judith, Love Guru. So yeah, we were even talking about that the other day, how it's just so much easier to go simple and general with things sometimes than really specific, because when we're really specific, we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves for the how and the when and things like that. So I love that is feeling better for you and just a lot easier for you to just, be in the wish fulfilled of love and peace and all those beautiful things without putting a face to it, because you can slowly bring that in again if you want. But again, at the end of the day, we get to decide who we want to have these experiences with. But at the same time, we're all just wanting that experience of love and peace and connection anyway, no matter who it's with. But the really cool part is that we do get to decide who we want to have it with. So I hope that brings like relief as well. I feel safer. Yeah, I love that. There's so much power in safety because, again, when we feel safe, we're trusting, we're relaxing, and we're allowing, So I love that. Yeah. And it's so much nicer to be in these high level states of love, safety, peace, connection, trust, relaxation, because this is when we allow all the good stuff to come in. Okay. Any questions, anything else you want to talk about? Because, we can talk for days here about specific person and specific people in love. Yes, safety and security first. Yes. And actually, just touching on safety and security, I find that this is a big thing that pops up in relationships. Like, people need to feel safe and secure in order to be vulnerable. There's actually a really beautiful podcast I saw ages ago with Brené Brown, who I think is just like this super, super cool lady. And I think, I can't remember what it was called, but it was like, in order to be brave, you have to be vulnerable. And in order to be vulnerable, you have to be brave. So it's like, how do we create safety and security in relationships? We kind of have to be vulnerable, and communicate and share what we're thinking and feeling and be open with that person. So in order to have safety and security, we usually have to be vulnerable first. But that also takes courage and bravery. And so vulnerability doesn't always then become this scary thing. Vulnerability can now become a safe thing if you feel safe and secure in a relationship. So yeah, I mean, if we don't feel secure and safe in a relationship, this is where all the insecurity rubbish comes up. And a lot of it comes back to self-worth, like being chosen, being, committed to, feeling valued, being a priority. And I know for myself that has come up a lot in relationships because of childhood trauma stuff of not feeling safe. So I love that. Yeah, safety and security is a huge one. Love that. I'm going to sleep with the lullaby technique. Isn't it wonderful? And then I imagine I have it all. Yeah, I love that. That's so nice. And that just makes me just feel like so chilled when you say that, because isn't it wonderful when you're falling asleep and you've got these beautiful new stories going on, because this is actually the time where beautiful information is sinking into our subconscious, which then creates new beliefs. And I think we've touched on this a little bit before about where our belief systems and subconscious behavioral patterns and, you know, our general belief systems come from our childhood, usually up to the age of 7, 8, or 9. 9 maximum is where we are just absorbing all the information from people around us, whether it's our family, friends, society. And then it's not really until 9 or beyond where we start to be able to be a little bit more self-aware and start to think for ourselves a little bit. So it's a really fascinating thing how the brain works, how we view ourselves, and then therefore how we view others in our life, especially romantic relationships, because this is one of the most important things that we sort of experience in our lives, romantic partnerships. So I love that. The brain is an amazing thing. So scientifically, as you know, fall asleep, the subconscious will absorb whatever's going on in that state. I think it's called the theta state, as you're just starting to drift off. I love that. Also, when you wake up in the morning, those first kind of 15 minutes, like just as you're coming out of the sleep state, is also a really beautiful time to do like a meditation or a visualization or something like that. And again, it just takes practice, because some days I'm like, oh, I don't have time for that. Like, I've got stuff on and I'm hungry, I'm gonna make breakfast. And then I'm like, ugh, miserable. Not miserable, but I regret not doing it. So, you know, before bed, in the morning, twice a day, it's just having that self-awareness to like have a really nice routine where you can check in and see how you're feeling about things. I'm doing my best not to fall asleep with negative thoughts. Only in the state of the wish fulfilled, feel safe, secure, loved. Yeah, I love that. Everything, you know, with manifesting is just practice. Honestly, I mean, I look at where I was like 5 years ago with manifesting. Hot mess, mate. Like, just no idea. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to try this out. Oh, and then something would happen in the 3D, and then I'd be like, well, this doesn't work, you know. And I still have moments of that when things don't go my way instantly, and I'm like, oh, well, this doesn't work. And then I have to remember, no, there is like a process. We're not really meant to know the how and the when, and so much about manifesting is cleaning up the negative thoughts. So I love that, because negative thoughts are just a pattern that you have practiced without even realizing it. So it takes the same amount of energy to be happy as it does to be sad. So I love that you're able to just flip it and make it really positive, because like, why wouldn't we? Like, and we have the choice to choose if we want to go to sleep negative or we want to go to sleep, you know, with positive thoughts. So I love that. I feel fuzzy feeling, and sometimes I feel bliss. Yeah, I love that. How nice. That's just so nice. And what a great way to go to sleep with, you know. And I dream every single night, so many dreams. It's wild. I have like a journal of all the dreams that I dream. Some are like, yeah, really, I feel like I live in the dream world a lot of the time. Less anxiety and fears. Yeah, that's so beautiful. Yes. So also I'd love to know, like, what are your dreams like as you drift off to sleep? And is it anything sort of in particular that you're focusing on? Because the dreams are part of the subconscious, and often your dreams will reflect back to you what is going on in your daily conscious life. So love the dream world. And I don't know if you've ever had this, but you know, when you wake up from a dream, whether it's good or bad, and it just felt so real though. So this is a whole other topic of like realities and time and the mind. And it's, the brain is a very incredible thing. And you know, I think we're only tapped into it into a very small amount. So doing these kind of techniques and you know, things like meditating and just being aware of your thoughts, even self-awareness, consciously creating is a really powerful thing. Because I think up until the point of where we kind of discover that we are the operant power, we are sort of just walking around and like everything's happening to us. It's not coming from us. Everything's just coming at us. And it's very much a victim state. And I know for a long time I was very deeply in a victim state, wanting to everybody to know my awful story and, hey, I'm a victim. And And then sort of got to the point where I was like, no time to be a victim anymore. I'm consciously creating. I want to have a great experience now. And again, with time, past, present, future, time is not a linear thing either. So that's a really interesting thing. My imagination feels real more than the 3D sometimes. Yeah, isn't it so cool? Because, with manifesting and quantum physics, because everything is energy, we create first in the mind and then the 3D reflects back to us. And it took me a long time to trust that. I was like, well, that sounds like a load of rubbish. And then I had to practice it and try it, and then things started to happen. And still I get surprised when really great things happen that I've been manifesting. I'm like, oh wow, this does work, and then I really celebrate it. But yeah, I love that. Me too, revision helps me a lot. Yes, I love revision. It's something actually that I was very new to about maybe 2 years ago. And I always say Burner is so good at revision. Just it's just so easy to jump into this topic with her and go into lots of different layers of it. For myself, there's still times where I'm like, okay, I've had this life experience up until this point, and it's actually led me to all the wonderful things of where I'm at now. So I haven't felt the need to revise up until sort of the last 2 years when I really kind of dived into it and explored it a bit more. And it is amazing because it just brings so much relief. And it's like, wow, I don't have to hang on to that old story anymore. I can have a new one, a better one. So essentially, you're just jumping timelines. And I love this new thing of timelines, especially with a specific person. So there's multiple timelines going on all at once. And there is one timeline where your specific person has loved you the entire time and you're in this incredible relationship. So that's something else to really dive into, the timelines of things. And I think this is a good question. What timeline are you on right now in your relationships, in your life? What timeline is it? Is it the best one in the world, or is it still a little bit wobbly? And I'm loving exploring that too. Let me see. I had a success with revision. I revised my little niece eyesight, for the doctor said that maybe she'll need glasses. I imagine that her eyes are perfectly fine, and this is what the doctor said, like I imagined. So it built my belief. I didn't believe it before I put it to the test myself. Yeah, I love that. And sorry, I'm squinting because I am supposed to wear glasses for the past 7 years, and I'm in denial. Yeah, I love that. See, amazing things can just happen all the time, and how beautiful is that of you just putting really lovely energy out there for somebody else, and I think that is what manifesting really all comes down to. We wish others to have a good time, and we wish ourselves to have a good time, and there's no point really trying to go out and hurt other people, because everyone is a reflection of us. So if we're trying to hurt somebody else, we're essentially hurting ourselves. So I think there's just so much more power in being kind to yourself and being kind to others. But yeah, I'm the same as you. I had to do a lot of tests, and sometimes I still test it out, and I'm like, is it working? And then it does, and then you're like, oh, okay. But I think that's also the biggest test too, is when you feel like you're waiting for something and it isn't turning up. And then we can go off and be like, oh, well, manifesting doesn't work. So it's having faith in the unseen, even when things aren't showing up in the 3D yet. That is like a true test of knowing where you're at in terms of being a master manifester. Sometimes I prefer to choose instead of persist. It feels like a job. Yeah. And the word persist, that word can sometimes feel like a chore. Yeah. For me, I kind of like to use something else as daily self-love of being in the end wish fulfilled state. Persisting just that word alone can sound like hard work. So I prefer to choose instead of persist. Yeah. And you're choosing You're choosing the timeline that you want to be on. You're choosing your new self. Who are you now that you have everything that you want, that you've just desired? And who is everybody else around you in relation to that, which is really cool. But the greatest thing is that we do get to choose. And this is where we have all of the control, because I see, and even with myself and some clients, it's like we've been taught our whole lives to take action and make things happen, and all of our control is out there, external, outside of us. But it's exhausting when we try and make stuff happen out there. So the actual power is within. 4D, going within, chilling out, creating here. And it can be so easy to forget because we are so used to making things happen out there in the 3D. 100%. Work hard, make it happen, get it done, persist. Like, I can see how this word can be, a bit annoying sometimes. So the great thing is that we choose how we feel. We don't choose all the thoughts that come in, but we can choose really which ones that we want to hang on to. So like thousands of thoughts come in a day. Imagine if we latched onto all of them. Exhausting, #exhausting. So just pick the ones that you really want to latch onto and experience. And this is what's going to create in your beautiful imagination, and then ultimately show up in your 3D. Things that show up really fast in the 3D, I find, are the things that we have the least resistance to. So this word resistance keeps coming up in sessions as well. Like, how much resistance do you have going on to something from a scale of 0 to 10? 10 being, oh, I don't believe it's ever going to happen, but I'm going to persist anyway. It kind of feels like a waste of time. If you have so much resistance going on to something, no techniques will work. So it's like lowering your resistance. How do we lower the resistance? And I love that it comes back to safety and security there. Because when we feel safe and secure and we're trusting, I just feel like trust should be like a word that's written all over the house for people. I trust, because when we trust, we relax, we allow. So yeah, there's bravery and vulnerability. I think this is something also really important to remember. I'm telling myself that even if I feel bad or having negative thoughts, I still get what I want. 100% you do. Yeah. Because the other thing too is, like, we make the rules. There's no like rule book. There's like steps in manifesting of how things work. Step 1, decide what you want. Step 2, get in alignment with it by, going to the end and living in the wish fulfilled. And we achieve this by doing techniques and lowering our resistance and just trusting, allowing, relaxing. So I love that. And negative thoughts and actually negative experiences, I feel like everything is leading you to your end result anyway. Call it the bridge of incidents. So kind of on this bridge, and I like to imagine a really nice, beautiful bridge. Not too long, just a short bridge, small bridge. But really nice bridge that, like, all kinds of things could be happening on this bridge, but it is still ultimately leading you to the end result, the wish fulfilled, with your person, with the job, with anything. And and just really trusting in the unseen as well while you're on that bridge and while you've got negative thoughts. And something like saying, just like what you said there, I still get what I want even when I have negative thoughts. The more negative thoughts I have, the faster everything comes to me. It can be anything that you want. And I think it's also really important to have negative days too. Like, we're not built to be positive and just like excited and high vibes all the time. Like, I think it's so important to allow all emotions in, feel the feels, feel it all. There is nothing quite as good as an ugly cry. I tell you what. And like, when you're done with the ugly cry, and then you've got your snacks at the ready and maybe a good movie and like hot shower and fresh sheets and all this good stuff, like, it's such a release of anything that's been building up. So love a good ugly cry. Not every day, but probably once a month there's like a really good ugly cry where you just let anything out that's been building up, because also sometimes these sneaky negative things can build up without us even realizing it. So I love that. If anyone has any questions, feel free to post them. Probably stay on here for another 5 minutes. And let me know if you are loving this as well, because I'm thinking of doing it every Sunday at this time. It's my Monday morning here, so I love that in terms of time, not being linear. But I'd also love to know a time that works well for European clients too. But yeah, let me know if you love this, and I can do more of it and post like a video as well. So have kind of two lots of things a week, a live and then a video a week. So yeah, let me know if you enjoy this and if you have any further questions. Thank you so much, Yara. It's so nice having you here. And thank you for telling us all like the successes and the good things that are going on, because I love that. I love to hear all of it, the good stuff, the bad stuff, because I think it's so great having a space where you can just talk about anything that is like super safe, and you know, where you're seen and you're heard. And again, it's free because, you know, I always found when I first got into manifesting and coaching and stuff, I just loved connecting in the moment with people, or a coach, rather, in the moment, being seen, being heard, making that connection, and knowing that it was free too, and that I didn't have to like, you know, stress too much over anything. It was just all very much in the moment, and it was wonderful. So I really want to bring that, and I really just want people to be able to just talk about anything here. So I'll just see if there's any more questions. Let me see if I've missed anything. No, I don't think so. Okay. And if you missed it in the beginning, Judith is now part of the YouTube channel, Gorgeous Judith. So I think she is just about to launch all of her availabilities and things like that really soon. So reach out. I call Judith the love guru. She's just like all that in a bag of chips, truly the best chips. So reach out to Judith, and yeah. But I'll be back here again, same time next week, and let me know what kind of topics you want to talk about. Thank you so much. Yara, I love her. Yes, amen to that. Isn't she amazing? I love her too. She's so real. I find with Judith that like she will tell you, you know, and she always keeps me very accountable, and I love that. Love you too. Lots of love. Thank you so much, Yara. Lots of love to you too, and have a beautiful day and enjoy. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, see you soon. Bye.